2.5 or 3 days later, you know, this thing is supposed to slide these little things in place. I beat 6 pieces of plywood to shreds as a, you know, the sort of a pad as you're hammering on these things to get it together. And then you get them together, and then you look at the instructions again. You say, oh, this fitting has an extra hole in it, so you used the wrong one 4 moves ago. So you take it apart and redo it. It was the hardest thing in my patience in recent memory. And then a few days later, my wife says, you know, Eric, we need some more gravel on the driveway. Oh, I look over and I count it up. That's between 10 and 12 tons. And guess who's going to be moving it? You know that God is so kind. In that situation, I felt really down in my heart when I considered this. I got up to do it, and the grace of the Lord came, and I said, oh, this feels better. I can do this. At other times, I had to do another job, and my hands were so sore. It was placing brickwork in place around the flower beds. She had so much brickwork, I said to my little dog, Zoe, I said, don't stop moving, you'll get bricks put around you. Anyway, I'm not bitter. This is ordinary stuff. But what was the Lord after? He's after the correct response. He's saying, what will it take you? What will it take to move you from the resting place? Can I allow this much? Will it take an offense? Will it take fatigue or tiredness? Are you still a chocolate soldier? What kind of warrior will you be that this will offend you? He trains us in these little everyday things. And I said to myself, Eric, if you stumble with the footman, what will you do when you meet the horseman? You want to be trained now that these things are small potatoes. These things don't rattle you. These things don't move you. But you walk constantly with patience and love and kindness. There's big ones coming, Eric. There's big ones coming. What can he trust me to? What will it take to move me in times of difficulty? Father, train us. Father, train us. I think that's on Father's heart. The fourth question to ask when trouble comes is this: is this an attack of the enemy? If it wasn't one of the other three, then it could well be this one. And you can tell the attack of the enemy because it feels different, for one thing. Let me explain. Recently, a very good friend of mine came over. We were going to do a little fishing. We love to fish. And he said to me, Eric, I'm just getting pounded by the enemy. My friend's not a wimp. He has cast out many demons, seen people saved and healed, been in revival. He knows what a fight is. And he goes into the toughest places knowing that there's going to be a fight. He says, Eric, I'm just getting pounded. And as we talked, though, this came out. He said, Eric, I moved recently, and I'm kind of concerned that we may have missed the will of God. He said, my back really hurts and I've been off work and I kind of feel like my wife may be a little critical because I'm not working, we need the money. But as soon as I'm feeling better, I'll get a job, of course. It was just an in-between thing, but he felt the pressure of it. I said, those things are why you're getting pounded. Those things leave an open door to the enemy. You see, those things moved him from that place of abiding. If you're not hidden and pressed down into the rock, then the enemy can come in. If you're worried about a criticism or, Lord, did I make the right important decision there? And that's not at peace, that's not at rest. It's like having a stone stuck in the door jamb when you're trying to close the door and lock it. It doesn't work. You have to settle those things. The enemy is not the problem. I said, this isn't some gigantic enemy you're fighting with. That's not the problem. Not the problem. That's just fun. The difficult part is the dying on the installment program. The difficult part is saying, Father, not my will, but yours be done. The difficult part is just saying, Father, I trust you. Kind of funny, we walked in the store, we're gathering up groceries. He's walking along behind, and just then the power of God lands on him. He just, and he's weeping, and everything's running. And I'm not seeing any of this, but I turn around and I said, and that's the heart of the matter. And we talked for just a few moments. That I said, do you want my keys? You go out to the car. He realized that the struggle was not against the enemy. It was in his own soul where these things had to be settled. Just like in Murray, where the struggle, it really wasn't about the enemy. The enemy wasn't some super strong thing that could not be defeated by our Christ. It was fear. There was a key to that fear. There was a root to that fear that had to be dealt with. He will train you to be a warrior. There are some key things that matter. You've got to be willing to spend that time in his presence beholding him. You've got to be willing to lay down the hurts and be healed quickly. In battle, you're going to be hurt. You're going to be offended. You're much more dangerous if you can get healed in a moment rather than taking 2 years or a lifetime. The enemy stabs you, you fall to the ground, then he jumps back up. I'm healed. Not fair. I just wiped you out. You know, fighting the enemy is the fun part. Dying is the difficult part. Dying to self. When your heart is hurt for the umpteenth time, you say, I love. I choose to love. I choose to forgive. I choose to be as Christ to this one. That's the difficult part. That's the part that costs. That's the part that decides whether you'll be a warrior or not. That's effective. If you're not willing in that area, don't pick a fight. You get beat up soon enough anyway. I've got another 15 minutes if you want me to do it, or 10 minutes, or do you want me to shut down now?
Probably. We could do a little ministry time. I think we'll do a little ministry time and pick it up tomorrow.
Okay.
Is that all right?
That's fine.